Hello everyone, here we are. It is 2 o'clock on Tuesday the 11th of February. I hope that everyone is having a lovely day doing whatever you're doing, and thank you for being here. I'm so grateful to have you here with me today. So today we're doing another technique. Well, actually I thought today it's going to be a little bit of a mishmash of techniques today. But the last few weeks you guys might have seen I've been playing around with our markers. And there is a reason why I've been playing around with the markers, and some of you already know what that reason is, but we'll go over that a little bit later. What I did want to talk about was how you can use your markers on watercoloring background or watercolor paper. But I thought that I would show you first a few of the cards that we've done in the last couple of videos. And if anyone has any questions about any of them or wants me to explore any of these a little bit more, then I'm more than happy to do so. Okay, so I've got in my mind what I'd like to do today, but if anyone has any questions or would like me to go down a particular path, I'm happy to divert. So just looking through the comments. Hello, everyone. Hello, Ina. How are you going? We've got Barbara here today. Donna, hello. Hey, Roz, how are you? And Holly's here. Hi. We also have, who else? Sheila, hello. How are you? You're having internet trouble. Oh, I hope you are able to stay. I hope you're able to. And Marilyn is here. Hello. Wouldn't that be a great idea to get a map? I probably need the map. I could put it up on my wall and showcase it, but it might be a bit tricky. But we could put a pin in everywhere where all the people are. That would be fun. It's a great idea. Who else do we have here today? I'm just looking through all my comments. Maureen, hello. Hello, Margaret. How are you? I hope you're back in time. I noticed you were here before we went live. Hello, Jen. How are you going? Leslie from Penrith is here. Oh, that means we might have more than one Leslie. We do. We have Leslie Smith here as well. Hello. All the Leslies. Hello, Joan. How are you going? All right, you girls. I see on and Leslie Annabelle. So it's a veritable feast of Leslies today. At least 3 that I can see on here right now. All right, I am going to get into it pretty quickly today, partly because I like to get this Technique Tuesday one done in under an hour if I can, partly because I've got a million other things I'm supposed to be doing, but also I think keeping this one short and to the hour is a good idea because I know it's a busy time for a lot of people. So I get that you don't have a lot of time to throw at something like this. So let's switch over to the desk and let's get my lamp on. You can see as soon as I get the lamp on, I get the glare from the lamp. See it there? All right, so with that in mind, I'm just going to put a piece of paper there. Ta-da, no more glare. How about that? All right, so I'm going to pull out a few. These are a few of the cards that we've done in recent, and it's not even all of them, but it's a few of the cards that we've done in some recent videos about markers, okay? And when I talk about markers, I am talking about the Stampin' Write markers, not the blends. Although I did think about maybe doing a video where we compare the two and go, you know, pros and cons of each, because there's pros and cons of both. Okay, so blends markers are alcohol markers. Okay, they saturate your paper, but their base is alcohol. So they lend themselves to different techniques than the markers, the Stampin' Write markers. So what is the big deal about Stampin' Write markers? Stampin' Write markers are water-based, which means that they are the same. They contain the same ink in a Stampin' Up marker, a Stampin' Write marker they're called, same ink as what's in an ink pad. Okay, so that's just the way it goes. And you'll find there are some techniques that lend themselves more to the alcohol markers and some techniques that lend themselves to the water-based markers. However, there are some techniques that you can use either for. There are some things, for example, coloring ribbon you can do with either blends markers or the water-based markers. Okay, either one will work for coloring ribbon. Okay, and I may even I have shown that on various videos in the past, but there is one advantage and then also a pro, which can also be a con for using the different types of markers for coloring ribbon. And one is that the blends markers are permanent. So if you get the blends markers on your ribbon or on paper or wherever, it's not coming off ever. Okay, whereas the water-based markers, those ones, you can wash it You could wash the ribbon if you weren't happy with the color and try a different color. Okay, so there are pros and cons. I'm seeing everyone on the group. Hey, Susie, how are you going? Oh, hey, Laura, you're at work. Well, I'll try and be quiet then. I don't want to get you in trouble. Oh, your markers have arrived, Sheila. Fantastic. Which ones did you get? Which ones did you get, honey? Love to hear. And Nola is here. You're in Eugene, Oregon, but what a beautiful part of the world that is, Nola. I love that part of the world. I did get to spend a little bit of time in Oregon, but not nearly as much as I would like, and Washington. But Oregon, I spent a little bit of time in Portland, and then we went up and did the obligatory Mount St. Helens visit and all those kind of things. It's just a beautiful part of the world. It's gorgeous. Okay. Just home from where, Susie? Where have you been? You're gonna share? I mean, it's none of my business, obviously, but you know, you're telling me you just got home, so I'm wondering where you've been. And Margaret's back as well. Hello. Hey, Jenny, how are you going? Nice to see you here. All right, so here's a few of the techniques that we've played around with over the last few weeks. This one is a direct to rubber technique where you might be able to see we've got flowers that are one color and the rest of it, the leaves and the stems, are a different color. So that's direct to rubber, and that's probably my favorite technique with markers. This one as well. Okay, same thing. Can you see that the pot, this is all one stamp, but we've got the pot that's a different color, and then we've got the markers that have been used to give our leaves the green. Okay, so that's the direct to rubber technique. We did talk about that a couple of weeks ago, but if any of these techniques you think to yourself you'd like to see them again, just let me know and I will do that. Okay. Then we also, a couple of weeks ago, these two I did at the same time, and they're actually using the same technique. You might see this rectangular shape here at the back in the different colors. That's using markers on acrylic blocks and then spritz with water and then stamped, like the block itself stamped. So it creates this beautiful, beautiful background look in the whatever colors you've chosen. And this is actually one of my favorite techniques as well. I love the direct to rubber, but I also love this technique. I think that's good. This one is the same. And I've actually used, this one was using H block, which is the long, thin blocks. I think everyone knows the one I mean. This one, okay. Is that H? Yes, it is H. And you can see that's the shape of it. Okay, so that's the particular one that I used on that card. And this one, this is D block. Okay, so I used that as a background. And let me grab a D block out. Here we go, here's one. All right, so you can see that's the size of that block there. All right. Oh, it's okay, Denise. I'm just going through a few of these techniques that we've done with markers in the last couple of weeks, or the last month or so, I guess. I've been playing around with them a lot. And this is actually using 3 colors. So scribbling on the marker, spritzing it with water, and then stamping it. Now this one, whereas the first one I showed you, what did I just do? Oh, right here. Okay, this is just on basic white. This one is actually on watercolor paper. So that's why this one has run and moved around a lot more. This one stayed more in the place where I put it because that was on. So you get a different result depending on what type of paper you're using. So basic white, watercolor paper. Okay, this one is the thumping technique. You might have seen me do this one a couple of weeks ago, and we added different color, extra color to the leaves. Up here, the tree has 2 tones of, so it's stamped in one color, and then I've thumped with Mossy Meadow, my darker color, to make the leaves stand out more. So that was that one. And then this one was doing the outline technique. This is not all the techniques we've done, by the way, but this is the few that I just pulled these out before we started. I thought it'd be fun to go over those. Oh, it is good to see Susie here today. Oh, okay. I remember now. I'm so sorry. Acetate. Okay. Well, I hope it went well. Actually, my dad had a MRI, and I'm waiting to hear the results of that. So I'm hoping that we're going to hear about that fairly soon. So yeah, lots of tests. You know, tests are good. We hope that they give us the results we hope for, but you know, you just don't know, do you? All right. Oh, okay. You have a CT scan every 6 months. Uh-huh. Okay, well, I'm glad you're home and able to share with us. This is a technique that I call outlining with your markers. And also, I don't know if you can see in the background, there's this, oh, it's a bit hard to see under the camera, but there is some flicking or splatter. Some people might call it splattering. I like to call it flicking in the background, and I'll show you how to do that as well. And I've got another one that is half made. I haven't finished this card yet. We might finish it today. And you can see I've got this background here. I'm going to show you how I did this. And we'll talk about a couple of things you can do with watercolor paper and markers. What do you think? Does that sound good? Hey, Donna, nice to see you. And Leslie is here as well, commenting on Susie's post. Hey, Kerry, nice to see you. Oh, thank you very much, Susie. I know. Thank you. I did get to see him on the weekend, and he, yeah, he's pretty banged up from his fall, so that's not very nice. But it, you know, we just have to go with it and see what happens next, right? All right, so I've got here some watercolor paper. You can see I've got a couple of pieces. I've got a full-size piece. I might do a full-size one. So this is actually two halves of one piece. This is a piece of let's go this way. 5 inches across by 7 inches long. And yes, it is easier to work in inches for this rather than the point this, point that with centimeters, because the paper is actually comes as 5 by 7. Okay. So if you cut it in half along here at the 3.5 inch mark, that is going to give you your 2 halves. And I find that this size is quite a good size to put on a card base. Look how well that sits on a, that's hard. This is an A4 card base. So half a sheet of A4 folded in half again to make the card base. And that works really well. So if you're cutting these in half, you'll find they're exactly the right size to work with. Okay. Now this one, I'm actually going to cut in half this way. And if I'm not mistaken, let me see, I should be about 12. Yeah, it's close enough. So I'm actually going to do this right around the 6 inch mark. Sorry, 6 centimeter mark. I'm going back to centimeters. Goodness me. And that's going to give me a couple of narrower panels. And you can see I've used a narrower panel on this one right here. Okay, so I'm just reading comments. Oh, no, Sheila, that's no good. Both broke both wrists. Oh, how painful. And you wouldn't be able to craft at all. Oh, my goodness. Oh, that is messy. I'm sorry about all that. Oh, my goodness. I'm very grateful for every day I have to craft, I have to tell you. All right, so let's do our first technique here with this. And this is a pretty simple one. Now, you can do this on plain paper as well, but I like it better on watercolor paper. And I'm going to be using acetate. Now, you just need to have a piece of acetate that is slightly bigger than your piece of paper, okay? And I've actually used this piece before and wiped it clean. Once again, that's an advantage of water-based markers. You can wipe it clean and start over, whereas if you use blends, it's colored forever, okay? The other thing is you can't add water to blends and get them to spread and mush around. Some people call this the smushing technique. You can't do that with blends because the blends don't smush around with water, okay? You can get a similar effect by using alcohol sprayed on the blends, and I do keep some alcohol. If anyone's in Australia, you can go to Bunnings and pick up this stuff. You want something with a high alcohol content, but this would be if I was going to use, this would be if I was using blends, not water-based markers, which is what we're using today. Okay, so I'm just using a piece of acetate. If you don't have any acetate, Stampin' Up call this window sheet. Okay, but if you don't have acetate, you can also use a large block. You can use, just thinking, what else can you use? There was something else I was thinking of that you can use, and now I've gone completely blank. But anyway, a block or acetate are good basis for this. Okay, so I'm actually going to grab a couple of colors. What colors shall I, you know what, I'm going to throw caution to the wind, and I'm going to ask for someone to tell me 3 colors that you would really like to use together on this panel. Okay, I'm going to let you guys choose, and it's going to come down to, I'm going to look at all the comments and pick one that I think, oh, that sounds really nice. I love the idea of that. Oh, you've been swimming, Susan. You're so good with your swimming. I try and get out and walk every day, so I guess that's similar to going swimming every day, isn't it? That's my thing I'm doing for myself. Oh, that's okay. Did you say the alphabet dies are back in? Oh my goodness, Anne. Oh my goodness. I've been checking like multiple times a day, and I had checked like literally within the hour. I have people waiting on those things to come in. Let me just have a quick look. I am going to double check that they're not out again. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay. Thank you for letting me know, Anne. I'm so grateful for that. I've actually got customers I need to send messages to that need to know so they can put their orders in. And I'm going to send one of them and send a message right this second. How amazing is that? Right. Thank you for telling me, Anne. I'm very, very grateful. Anyone else waiting on those? I hope they're not out again by the time I finish this, because I've got another 6. I've got 5. Well, I've got 6 customers waiting on it, and then I've got 5 on one order all waiting for it. So I need to get that order in, don't I? All right. I hope they got lots of stock. That's all I can say, because it's going to go like hotcakes. All right. Let me quickly go back. All right, I'm looking at the comments. Highland Heather, Lemon Lolly, and Marmy Blue. Oh, that's very pretty. Those would be very soft together. Petunia, Shy, Shamrock, and Freesia. Oh, that's a nice combination, Donna. I like the sound of that. Mossy, pink, and purple. Okay. No, they weren't this morning. I've been checking multiple times. I think I've probably checked 3 times this morning already. So clearly it's only just happened. Pretty in pink, Highland Heather, Balmy Blue. That'd be pretty. Blackberry Bliss, Berry Burst, and Fresh Freesia. Oh, that sounds pretty too. Very nice combo. Are you having a go at me, Nicole? Walking is so like swimming. I didn't mean that walking and swimming are the same thing or even close. What I meant was they're both forms of exercise, and we are taking the time to do this for ourselves, smarty pants. Thanks, Nicole. Peacock, Lost Lagoon, and Pool Party. You know, that's a favorite combination of mine, Leslie. I really love that combo. You must have timed it right for checking. Yes. All right. And you did it because of me. Well, I hope not too many people do it, or I'm going to miss out. I know my other customers are going to miss out. I hope somebody in that customer group is watching right now. And okay. All right. Let me go back. The one I really liked the sound of was Petunia, Shy, Shamrock, and Freesia. That's Donna's. So Petunia, did you say Shy Shamrock or Shy Shamrock, I think was? Yes, and Freesia. Let's have a look at these. That's a really, oh, this ink pad needs a clean up, doesn't it? Let's quickly wipe over that with a paper towel. Always keep, when you're doing these kind of messy techniques, always keep a bit of paper towel handy. Let me get that. I like this. I like the idea of these 3. Okay, that seems kind of nice, and I'm hoping that this is dark enough. I think it will be. I need to have a little bit more contrast. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the markers, not the ink pads. I just pulled those out to see what they would look like together. Oh, I've already forgotten what the other one was. What was the other one? Give me a second. Freesia. Here we go. All right. Let me see if this is the right one. Yep. All right. Let's try these and see what happens. So I'm going to start. I usually start with my lightest color, but it doesn't really matter. And I'm actually going to put a piece of white paper behind here so that you can see the colors better. Okay. So I'm just going to just randomly scribble. It makes that squeaky noise when you put it on, doesn't it? All right, then I'm going to go some Petunia Pop. This one's a bit darker, as you can see. And it doesn't matter where you put colors, but we're trying to cover pretty much all of this. Shy Shamrock might be my darkest color in this batch. And I'm trying to, you know, color all the bits as much as I can. Can you see that okay? And by the way, anyone who gave me some colors, don't feel bad that I didn't choose yours. All of them were great. There was no colors. There was no color combos that wouldn't have worked. I just had to pick one. So I've gone with this one because I don't use these colors together very often. All right. So now I've got a spritzer, a water spritzer, and there is water in here. I went and made sure before I started. And I'm going to spray this on top of my acetate, and you might see the color starts to kind of move around a little bit and it pools on top there. Okay, now remember before we said we wanted to make sure that our acetate piece was slightly bigger than our paper piece, and this is why. So I'm just going to pop that down right there on top, and I'm going to lay it and sort of tap over the back of it just to make sure it's picking up some color. And let's see what that looks like. All right, very pretty. Now see how some of the color has like not followed. If you want to fill in some other areas, you can do that. Let me see, I might pop that down in there. All right, so that's kind of filled that up a little bit, and that's really pretty. Okay, it's a nice combo of colors. Now I'm going to clean up my desk here. Oop, doesn't want to come up. Here we go. And I'm going to get my paper towel that I just had a moment ago and wipe that up. Your glass mat is great if you've got one of these. It's fantastic for these kind of messy techniques. Not only does it contain all your mess, and you know it's easy to clean up. It's so good in that regard. So now that I've got all these colors on here, I can, you know, I've just got this smushy kind of a background here. Daffodil Delight, what you're talking about there, Miss Leslie? What colors do you ladies like with Blueberry Bushel? Ah, I see. Purples and greens, says Nicole. And Leslie likes daffodil. So that's interesting. All right, so we've got some pretty colors on here, okay? And I then could stamp over the top of this, and I could use any of the colors that I have already used on here. I don't know. I mean, when I did this one, I had peacock in the background, and so I stamped in peacock, okay? So I just thought that that looks kind of good, but I'm wondering, let me see. Let's do something, let's go a little darker. We could actually, the shamrock has stayed true, but the other colors, the freesia and the petunia, have kind of meshed together, haven't they? Don't they? Don't you think that that's the case? All right, so I'm looking at my butterflies here, and I'm thinking I might use these, and I could pick any of these colors, or I could go with a darker color. For example, I could use, say, Gorgeous Grape on top of that, or Highland Heather. Actually, Highland Heather would look good. So let's try that. And we could use it with our marker if we wanted to, but I'm actually thinking I might just, so I'm actually going to purple it up a bit. Is that a term, to purple something up? It should be. That's too cold, Judy. No good at all. I don't like the sound of -7, and that's F, Fahrenheit. Oh my goodness, too cold. I can't even think how cold Celsius that would be. Do you think that's dark enough? I think it is. Maybe, you know what? I'm thinking that's not bad, but I'm thinking maybe even going darker. So Gorgeous Grape would be the next purple up. And Gorgeous Grape and Highland Heather look quite nice together. Let me see. I'm just going to have a second one here. See, they're not a lot different. This is a little darker than that, but I think I prefer it actually. And then I'm thinking I've got a small butterfly here. And we've also got some tiny, tiny ones. Maybe I want some tiny, tiny ones. I don't know. Actually, let's try that. And I'm thinking I was worried about the fact that the tiny, tiny butterflies, I might not be able to get them all 4 of them in between a space. But you know what? It doesn't actually matter. This one, I can get all of them there, or most of them. All right. But here, it's going to go over. So what I can do is I can clean my stamp. And this is another way to use your markers. I use my markers all the time. They're super, super useful. So I made sure that that's well and truly clean. And I'm going to grab my Stampin' Right marker in the Gorgeous Scrape, okay, and then decide which ones I want to have. I just want these two here. So this is an advantage. When you use your markers, you can just choose which parts of the stamp you want to have. If you're using an ink pad, you kind of have to use the whole thing, or mostly, unless you're very, very careful. But when you use your marker, you've got more control over where you ink up, okay? And I think that's something I would say about markers generally, is they give you more control. Okay, so I'm putting these two on there. Can you see that we've just got the two? Okay, that looks rather good, doesn't it? And, you know, if I wanted to, I could have another one just here. If I wanted to, I'm not going to worry about that. All right, so that's a kind of a cute little panel, and we can have a little bit of a play with that. Oh, you know what? Even though I've got a butterfly left over from another project, and it's a glittery butterfly. I mean, seriously, it's sitting right here on my desk waiting to be used, and I did not anticipate this, but see, I've got all different ones, but I might use him. He might be rather nice. All right. So I could pick any of these colors out of here now that we've gone. I could have a base, could be white, or I could, oh my goodness, that's way too cold. -40? Are you seriously? That's crazy. Whereabouts are you? That is crazy. Yeah, too cold. Oh, it makes me not mind our balmy summer nearly as much. It's actually, today it's not cold at all. It's actually quite pleasant. So yeah, that's crazy weather. Crazy, crazy. All right, so I'm deciding what color, if I want to put this on a white background, or if I would rather pop it on maybe one of these colors. So here's my white, basic white thick cardstock, and I'm deciding whether I want to have that on there. So this would look quite nice on there, you can see, or whether we have a different color underneath. Could punch a hole in the top and add ribbon and make a bookmark. You absolutely could. You absolutely could. And if you had a corner around you could round off those two top corners, and that would make it look even more like a tag kind of a bookmark. That would be nice. Control, yeah. Live on the edge. I know, right? Well, not everyone loves that lack of control. I, like you, don't mind it, but some people really like to feel like they have a little bit more control. So I'm deciding whether I want to keep this on white. It does look really good. Or I'm thinking, where else? You're in northern Alberta. Are you close to the mountains up where you are? I have not spent a lot of time in Alberta. I mean, I have spent some, but not a lot. So I'm looking through my cardstock scraps. I mean, I actually have a scrap of Shy Shamrock. Let me just fold that in half. This is a card base size already. And see, that's how this would look. It's nice, but I kind of think I prefer it on the white. The other option is I keep the white card base and just have a green card front. But I feel like that's maybe, no, I do prefer the white. So I'm thinking maybe a matte from the Shy Shamrock, but not, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Okay, let me, so this piece is, I'm going to go 6.5. I'm only going to do a small mat. Can you see that there? So it's a smallish mat. And then just to highlight that Shy Shamrock colour. Oh, come on. Sit in the right spot. All right. Okay. All right. And that brings out the Shy Shamrock a little bit more too. So I'm going to pop that. Actually, I might use seal for this because it's a little bit stronger. And you might notice when I use my seal, I flick it off at the end, and I don't have any trouble with it rewinding on itself, which I know some people have had problems with. It's a bit of a learning curve, and I wish we didn't have a learning curve on adhesive, okay, but we do on that particular one. And even though I wish we didn't have that, if you take the time to learn how to use it properly, it is the most fabulous adhesive. It's fantastic. All right, now before I put this on, I'm going to do another technique with our markers that I particularly like. I'm going to grab my, actually, will I go with the green or the purple? I want to do some flicking. Okay, so I want to get a bit of splatter on here, and I'm deciding whether I prefer the Shy Shamrock or whether I prefer some gorgeous grape. So these are my two options. I can't decide. I think maybe the Shy Shamrock, because I'm going to have we're going to have a Highland Heather butterfly. So to do the splatter, it's very easy. It's very small and a little bit hard to see on this. Wonky and out of control is good, but not when you have 3 on a bicycle going over. Right, you are right, Nicole. That is true. All right, so what we're going to do here is I'm going to hold the lid, and I'm going to put my fat end of the marker into the lid, and I'm going to flick it. And I don't know if you can see just that one flick, or you really can't see it very well. You might be able to see it. Creates a bit of splatter for us. So we're going to keep doing that until we have the amount of, let's see, got a bit more that time. All right, and we're going to keep doing that until we have the amount of splatter that we want. So this is a fun, easy to do thing with your markers. And I really like how it looks. All right, can you see the splatter on there? So that's in the Shy Shamrock, right? So this is going to go on here like this. You could put it on dimensionals, but I'm not going to. Because I'm actually going to, let me see if I've got some here. I did have some, I put out a few, what do you call it? I don't know, labels. Now this is going to, if I use this one, it's going to cover up some of the butterflies. Do we care? Do you want to do that, or do you not want to do that? I don't mind it, because then I can have a bigger greeting as well. Or I can do a smaller greeting, but I feel like that's too small, but I could be wrong. What do you think? You know what? The more I look at the wonky circles, and I know everyone knows that I'm not, the wonky circles didn't do it for me, but I've actually had a couple of really good ideas for scrapbooking that I think I could use the wonky circles for. And so I'm starting to think, you think it's too big? Is this one better? I could go up. Let me see. Is this one any bigger? No, those are all practically the same size. They are the same size. Let me see. If I was to use one of my punches, maybe the 1 3/4 inch punch, I think that's a little bit bigger. So let me see. Let's see if that one will. Is that bigger? Oh, it's only slightly bigger, but it is bigger. Or we could try the 2 inch punch. So the 2 inch is the other size that is very, very good, very useful size. And you want to have some circle punches in your stash, because you can just quickly, easily, without having to worry about a cut and emboss machine. See, that's the 2 inch size, and I feel like that size is good. And then this is a little small. So, yeah, let's go with that. I'm going to glue this on. So this is a really easy peasy card, right? Don't you think? It's very simple. But we've used a couple of marker techniques on it. Now, I tell you who has fantastic techniques on her blog, and that would be Miss Sharon Armstrong. Now, I think some of you have probably come across Sharon before. She does beautiful, beautiful stuff and does a lot of techniques. Okay, so I'm just looking at this and thinking I should have maybe had the next size up but I'm not going to. I'm going to do something different. All right, so let's use another marker technique. What have we got on here? Wishing you a beautiful birthday. That's nice. Hope is a beautiful thing that flutters in the soul. Thinking of you, or thank you. Really nice, and they will all fit on this quite nicely. So what do people think? Thinking of you, wishing you a beautiful birthday, or thank you? Which one should we have? You watch Sharon Leslie? I know, she's great. I don't think I'll regret it. I think I'm going to have to give in, and you guys are talking me into it. Do you know what's on my next order to arrive? It's all your fault, you girls. Someone, who was it that told me I had to get the arches? And I had some free dollars, like some Stampin' rewards on my order, and so I gave in, I caved, and I got the arch dies and the matching stamp set. Beautiful birthday, thinking, said Donna. Okay, Donna's first. We're thinking of you. Okay, thinking of you it is, because Donna was first. So let's get that here. And I'm going to pop that on there. And I'm going to do this with the Gorgeous Grape again. And I'm going to make sure that's pretty much in the middle of that. Thinking of you. You're on the fence with the arches as well? Yeah, I was, until I had some host dollars, and I thought, you know what, that's okay. I'll just get them. All right, so I'm going to edge this. Like I said, I wasn't sure about getting a bigger circle to be a matte, but what I can do is using my markers, and you may have seen, you can do this with blends as well, so you don't just have to use these. Just very gently go around the outside of your shape with the edge of your marker, your fat end. So fat end of the marker, and just zip around the shape, and it's going to give you a nice edge. Of course, you could use sponge daubers or something like that as well, but this is a very, very easy way to finish off your edge. Okay, so that's going to go on there. Because this is flat, I'm going to put this on dimensionals. Let me put the lid back on here. So let's grab a few dimensionals out. 1, 2, and 3. Is Jodie with us today? I don't think she is. I haven't seen her, because I was going to say, what bling should we have on this card? Let's see. All right, that's looking pretty nice. Yeah, I mean, it's a very easy card, right? You got the arches and the new stamp set. Yeah, because there's another one now. I know, right? I got the first one. I haven't got the second one yet. I know, right? I'm thinking about don't hold me to it, Nicole. I haven't got the wonky dies yet, but I'm thinking the problem is, of course, we've got so many cool new things that you can't have everything, right? You just can't. But the wonky dies, I had a really good scrapbooking idea, and if I have a really good scrapbooking idea with something, then I'm probably going to get it. Now, I was actually going to put this on here, and then I totally forgot about the butterfly. You can't do it now, because I would need to move this, and that would need to go over, and it's going to cover half my design anyway. So I guess I'll just leave it as it is. We need to finish this card up. So I'm going to do a couple of things. I'm going to put some ribbon on it, but I want to customize my ribbon, custom color it to be matching with this. Okay, so I could pick any of the colors that we've got in here. The pink would be nice, because we don't have a lot of that. And we've got some, I've pulled out a few ribbons out of my stash that we could use. All right, so I've got the silver edged ribbon. That's probably everyone's favorite, isn't it, that one? I think this ribbon is so beautiful. My two favorite ribbons is this one and this one, which is, hang on, no, not that one. This one, which is the stripy, the iridescent striped ribbon. Okay, and this is really cool. I hope not, Sheila. Some of those don't do it for me. And salt and pepper shakers always remind me of Daleks, for those people who are Doctor Who aficionados. All right, so this ribbon here has got that lovely iridescent look to it, and it looks really good with these kind of colors, all the purples and everything. So purple bling, I think so, Jodie, and you are here. Yay! Purple juicy dots. We don't have any purple juicy dots unless we make them purple. We could color them purple. Now, here's the thing. You can't use your water-based markers to color embellishments the same way you can with blends. But when it comes to when it comes to ribbon, you can color the ribbon. Okay, so I'm deciding which color I'm going to go with. I'm going to start, I think, with this. Now, can you see this mark on my silicone mat? See that? That's because guess who stupidly used the blends to color some ribbon on her silicone mat? Guess who that would be? All right, and that's why it's permanently colored, because the blends are permanent. Whereas if I use these on my silicone mat, I can just go and wash it. It's just water-based, so it just is going to wash off. Okay, so it won't hurt me to do it on here today because it's not going to be permanent. It's permanent enough that I can color my ribbon with it. Can you see how nice it colors up? All right, can you see that? It's a bit hard to see under the camera, isn't it? All right, so I'm looking at, this is Petunia Pop. And I'm just going to come along here. And you can see it's coloring my silicone mat, but I'm not worried because that's just going to wash off at the end of this. So there are pros and cons to markers depending on whether you're using the alcohol markers or the blends. Pros and cons. So, and somebody asked earlier, who was it that what was that? You'll always be able to find the silicone mat now. That's true. So Sharon Armstrong did a series of 20 techniques with the Stampin' Right markers in the last couple of weeks. And if you would like to go, it's on her blog. If you look up Sharon Armstrong Stampin' Up, you'll have, so her blog comes up and she's got 20 different techniques you can use for the Stampin' Right markers. Or she also has a video that goes through all 20 techniques, and I think you would enjoy either. So if you're more of a like to see it all written down, and she's got photos on her blog as well. There's photos of each technique, or if you prefer to see her make them, you would be able to go to that video and watch her do that. Okay, so it's pretty cool. I'm just looking at all the comments. All right, so you see now that I've got, and see how it's come off on my fingers. See how my fingers are now all pink? That's from this, because, but I can just wash that off. That's going to come off easily, okay? And the other thing is, for anyone who ever gets ink on their fingers and it seems to be a bit stubborn and it doesn't want to come off, doesn't matter. Just wash your hair and your fingers will be perfectly clean. So there's that. All right, let me cut this. And I'm going to attach this with a glue dot. I'm just going to turn that over because, right, so where shall I put this? I think here. I think that would be nice. And I'm going to use a glue dot behind it. And we are going to attach it. And then we're going to add the bling. And you said purple bling, is that right? We have some options, actually. So we could do the sequins from the celebration offering, the purple adhesive back sequins, which are free with a $100 order. There's so many good things free with a $100 order at the moment. That's just one of them. Or we could use the purple shimmer gems. So we have a number of options. Okay, so these are the purple adhesive back sequins, and you can see there's white, there's berry burst. Actually, the berry burst would look kind of cool too. There's bubble bath and fresh freesia. So those are all really pretty. The fresh freesia looks really good. I think maybe the berry burst are too dark, too bright. But those are an option. And then we also have the purple adhesive, the purple shimmer gems, and they have Blackberry Bliss, Gorgeous Grape, and Highland Heather. And those are all real. Actually, those are fresh freesia, I think. Those might be better. What do we think? Which ones, Jody? Which ones? Those two? The shimmer, says Jody. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, you could color the purple, the Juicy Dots, but you'd have to use blends for that, okay, because the water-based markers will just wipe off, but the blends markers won't. So there you go. So that's an advantage of the blends and also a disadvantage if you need to, you know. All right, but which one am I going to do? Am I going to do the Gorgeous Grape, the Blackberry Bliss, which actually looks better than I thought it would, and the light one is the Freesia? I think I'm going to go the Gorgeous Grape. I think I like those the best. So let me grab a take your pick tool, And we're going to pop that right there. And I'm deciding where I would like all these to be. I'm going to have one down here in this corner. And I'm going to have one actually on the sentiment banner. And I'm going to have a little one. These are really beautiful, these shimmer gems. They're really, really pretty because they shimmer. It's hard to see it under this light, but they're very shimmery. Really pretty. There we go. I'm going to call that a finished card. And we used our markers to edge the circle. We used our markers to create the coloured background. We used our markers to just pull out the 2 butterflies so we didn't have to stamp all 4. So we've actually used a bunch of marker techniques on here. And you can see they're super, super useful. Oh, and the flicking in the background. It's hard to see that, but it is there. Okay. Yeah, it turned out nice. I'm actually going to finish off this card because I was working on this one earlier today. And I don't know if you can see, I've used the same background technique. Okay, so I used a piece of acetate. In fact, I used the same piece of acetate and then wiped it clean and made the card we just did now. But this is on watercolor paper again. And we're just about to have a downpour here, and I may have a howling cat. So let me know. I'll let you know if that happens. So yeah, we have this this panel here that's got the colors I've used are Pool Party. Sorry, no, I didn't. Pretty Peacock, Old Olive, Wild Wheat, and Calypso Coral. Can I just say that you don't want to have too many colors when you're smushing all your colors together. It can end up looking really muddy. So just be a little bit careful. I think 4 is about the most colors you can go. Okay. You like the colors in this card. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, with window sheets, it's really easy, Donna. It's a really simple, easy way to use them. The pre-made card. Right. Thank you, Anne. Yep. Okay, so that's this one. And for this one, I've used the, I hope this set's still available because it was on the last chance list. Has anyone seen if it's still around? Let me just have a quick look and I will tell you if it's still around. Yes, it is. And it's only $16.40 down from $41. So it's still around, but I don't know for how long. It's last chance. So super nice set. And I stamped it in Pretty Peacock. So you want to wait till this is dry. And then I used Pretty Peacock. Okay. And then I actually colored some of the flower petals. I colored them with white gel pen. Now you could do a number of things. If you don't have white gel pen, you could also use a little bit of bleach in a pen. That will also take the color out and it'll look white, but you've got to be a bit careful with that. So I just used white gel pen because I had it handy here on the desk. We used to sell white gel pens once upon a time. I wish we still did, but yeah. The bee bundle is lovely. The dies are no longer available. Those have gone. But they are great to work with, Lorraine. I know, right? Oh, my goodness. Am I doing an unboxing video? Yes. Yes, I am. And I've still got the box sitting here on my desk waiting to be unboxed. So I did sneak a couple of things out of it the other night to use in my last Sunday night video. But then I put them back in to remind me to go through them when I'm unboxing again. All right. So to finish this card off, I thought that I would use, I can do this several ways. I can do, no, that's too big. This one is, let me see. I was thinking there was another circle I had here that would be exactly the right shape. But all of these are a little bit small. I did have another circle. I don't know what I've done with it. That's all right. I can always cut another one. It's not a problem. All right, so on this card, we've got the smushing technique on the watercolor paper. We've stamped over the top, okay? Then I've done some flicking around. So this one's actually quite similar to this card. They're almost identical, just different stamps and different colors, okay? And then also here I used a marker. Rather than using a mat, I used a marker around this panel to actually edge. I used my Pretty Peacock marker to edge the edge of this piece so that I didn't need to use a mat. And then I've just used a strip of Pretty Peacock here in behind it. So that's how I just did it a little bit differently. You have to start a champ. You want an unboxing. You want it. You want it. All right. I'll see what I can do. And I'm wondering whether it should be a live video because it's hard for me to look at comments when I'm live doing an unboxing, or whether I should do the unboxing and just post it as a pre-recorded video. What do you guys want to see? What would you like? Do you have a preference? That's a great idea, Jody. Also, absolutely right. If you don't have acetate sheets, you can use the acetate backing sheets that come in your stamp sets. All right. So, for example, this is a new stamp set. This is the acetate backing here. Okay. So you've got this sheet here that's quite flimsy, but the acetate backing that the stamps are actually stuck to, that's quite thick, more like the window sheets that we have. Okay. So if you're wanting to do, if you don't have any window sheets or acetate, you can use what comes in your stamp packaging. So that is true, Jody. Very, very accurate. All right. Well, the stamp that the piece of the circle I'm looking for isn't actually here, and I think this is too small. Do you guys think that's too small, or do you think it's okay? Live, do a premiere. Yes, actually, Sheila, that's a good idea. So does everyone understand what a premiere is? A premiere is pre-recorded, but you guys can chat live while you're watching. So it's kind of like a live, but I'm not actually live. But you can chat just like a live. So that's actually a really, really good idea. Exactly. Then I can read and comment at the same time. I think you are right, Sheila. Thank you for suggesting that. That might be the go. Does everyone understand the difference between a live and a premiere? So premiere means that I can be in the comments and reading through and chatting to you guys, but while I'm actually recording it, I'm giving my full attention to the recording. So so that's a really good way to do it. And the only difference between a live and a premiere and a pre-recorded video is that you're allowing chat while you're actually doing it. So, all right. So I'm looking at this. The other option too is I can put, you know what, maybe I should do that. I've also got that might be good. Let's do that rather than the circle. This is from the Cheerful Daisies dies, this one, I believe. I think it's like the one from that anyway, if it's not exactly the same. But no, you don't have to behave yourselves. Whenever have you behaved yourself? And I've never stopped you, right? All right, you guys, goodness me. All right, so for this, I want to show you another thing you can do with markers, which is rather fun. Actually, let me show you on a piece of paper first, and then we'll do one. You can also do an ombre lettering with your markers. Okay, so just say, for example, I decide I'm going to use this So Much Thanks because I really like it. All right, so let me see what I've got. Actually, I'll use this piece. And I'm going to pop that on a block. So ombre lettering, by that I mean we can actually create lettering that is multiple colors. What colors shall we do? Oh, I see. Well, I won't be physically there, Cherie, so it's all good. Yeah, exactly like what Ellen does. In fact, it was Ellen that talked me into trying premieres because I think she's onto something. All right, so earlier you were asking what looks good with Blueberry Bushel. Maybe I should do Blueberry Bushel and something, or maybe I should do, let's try Pretty in Pink. I don't know why. And let's try, what other color would look really good with that? I'm looking to see what has anyone suggested anything? You like the circle, Leslie, do you? Huh. Thanks for that, Cherie. Too much information. All right, I'm gonna do this, but I want it to be I want it to be quite striking. So maybe let's just pick two colors. I'm going to pick two colors that I hardly ever that I hardly ever, well, I don't wear them either, but two colors that I think might look rather good together. And I'm going to get my thick end of my marker, and I am actually literally going to go across and about halfway down my letters. Okay, so this is going to give us an ombre idea. And then I'm going to do the bottom. I've got to be a little bit careful here. So I've got to do the bottom half. I'm doing it with real red. So it's yellow at the top and red at the bottom. And then let's go red at the top of this one. And shall we try the blueberry bushel just to see how it looks? Blueberry bushel down the bottom here. All right. Now we're direct to rubber. I'm actually going to go back and re-add at the top just to make sure I'm getting plenty of yellow. This is crushed curry, this yellow. It's quite dark. And I'm going to huff on it. And the reason I'm doing that is because you need to moisten your ink, your stamp, because the ink dries almost instantaneously on it. Now let's see what we have. Can you see how we've got an ombre lettering effect? It's really cool. Oh, Joanne, don't tell me that. Every time someone tells me that, I'm getting scared that I'm going to miss out. I've got to wait until the end of this. That's a reason to wrap it up today quick, isn't it? So see how cool that is? That's a really nice effect, and I think it looks really, really great on a sentiment on a card. Here's something else. If you happen to mess up your stamping, just say I was stamping with an ink pad and then I messed up my stamping and I skipped a little bit maybe, you can come in here and you can fix it up with the pointy end. Well, this marker is almost dry. Uh-oh. I have had these markers for 15 plus years. They're old as. So I don't want to use the fat end really because no, I'm worried I'm going to mess it up. So I'm actually going to go and try my cherry cobbler and see if that's better. Yep, it's a little bit better. And I'm filling in those little gap bits that I missed. So you can do this if you miss any stamping on a with a regular stamp, you can actually fix it up. So that's kind of cool. You can re-ink them. I know, and I will re-ink it. I did show that a couple of weeks ago. I showed how to re. Yep, there is a Technique Tuesday. I know. I did that a few weeks back. All right, you guys. I'm going to finish up this card. I'm deciding whether I'll. Do you know what I think I might do? I'm going to use, what colour? I think Pretty Peacock, I think. Let me see. I'm just looking to see if I've got any more Pretty Peacock ink cardstock right here, and I do. I'm going to go with a 2-inch punch. This is actually two-tone cardstock that I'm using here. It's a 12 by 12, so it's actually a slightly dark colour from one side to the other. Can you see how it's different? So it's a darker tone and a lighter tone. That's one of the advantages of the 12-tone cardstock. See, now that's a better size. I like that. All right, so I'm going to have that on there, and I'm going to use from the Queen Bee set. Do I want to use that from the Queen Bee set? No, I don't think I do. Let's use one of the ones we didn't use before. Let's use the Thank You from the Sketch Butterfly set that we had out. And let's pop that on there. And I'm going to use Pretty Peacock ink. I think it works better too. Yeah, it just needed that extra. It needed a bit of outlining. That's a nice thank you. Isn't that a nice thank you? I like that. All right, so I'm going to stick this. You could use dimensionals between the two if you wanted to, or just maybe dimensionals underneath. Which way am I going to go? I'm actually going to go dimensionals underneath here. 1, 2. So who doesn't have Stampin' Write markers? And I did say I would mention quickly about why I'm using them at the moment, and it's very simple. The reason I'm using them is because right now Stampin' Up have a joining special. You can actually join Stampin' Up for only $169, and you're going to get $235 worth of product of your choice, as well as, that's not all, wait, there's more. As well as that, you're going to get 2 packs of the markers. Now, those are worth $62. Is it $62.50 each? So, you know, we're talking a substantial amount of money. Plus, you'll get a free stamp set. And the free stamp set is the handmade design set that I've been talking about quite a bit in the last few weeks. This one is free as well. Okay, so you get a free stamp set, 2 free packs of markers. That's a total of 20 of our markers. And then on top of that, you get $235 worth of product. All of that only costs $169. Once you have done that, you then start getting 20% minimum of every single order you place. And that's a big deal because that's going to be a cost saving. If you're someone who spends a lot of money and you've got orders going in every month, you definitely need to be thinking about this. It's the best way to maximize your value with Stampin' Up. Totally. So yeah, with the marker sets, you can't because they're actually fairly inexpensive. So how do they work out? So $62.50 and there's 10 in the set. So they're only $6 something each. But the blends cost a lot more. Those are more expensive. So those ones you can buy at least individual colors. But in the Stampin' Up markers, you can't. Your markers came today. And you bought the brights. Fantastic. That's great. All right, I'm going to quickly pop a bit of bling on here. And I'm thinking today I might go with will I go with copper or will I go with gold on here? Which one do we think? Gold or copper? Either would look really good. Does anyone have a thought? Oh, you're very welcome, Ina. Lovely to have you with us. Thank you so much. We used to have them singly, and they had to green, says Jody. Hang on, that wasn't one of the options, was it? Green, gold, copper. Okay, well, which green? Which green would we use? I don't know that I have a good green to use with this. I have garden green, but that's totally wrong. That's not going to work. Let me see. Oh, here we go. I've got Pretty Peacock in the Blooming Pearls. What do we think about those? How about we go with those? All right, so I'm going to whack those on. So I've got a large one here. And then maybe another large one up here. And then a little one, because we can. Actually, there's small, medium, and large. This is like a medium one. Those are small. Interesting. All right. And there we go. There's our card. So I hope you like those. This is what we made today. And we used a marker watercolor paper background. Markered watercolor, which I think looks lovely. Did you guys like those? The Pretty Peacock works? Excellent. Excellent. All right. If you have an interest in joining as a demonstrator and you think it sounds like a great idea, it's only a couple of weeks left of the special. Okay. So what I would suggest in the details, the description below my YouTube video, there is actually a whole bunch of information, including how to reach me, how to contact me if you'd like more information. And I'm going to zip back to me and say bye-bye. Oh, I'm really glad you like them, Nicole. That's so good. You're very, very welcome. I'm very happy to, and I will get onto that unboxing. Thank you for the reminder. I know I need to do it. I've just had so much happening here, so I haven't had time. And in fact, I'm very sad that my box arrived on Friday and I've barely had time to even look at it. Oh, thank you. All right, you guys, have a fantastic day. I will see you again, most of you, Friday night. And if you have any questions, anything at all that you need Stampin' Up related, please reach out. Like I said, all the details are in the description below. Thanks, guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye.